Welcome everyone to the EOS Fireside Chat for August 30th. We've had a couple of light summer shows recently, but not today. Looks like summer's over, vacations are done, everyone's back to work, and we've got lots of news to discuss and updates to cover. We've got 6 guest speakers lined up for you today, 9 interesting topics, including Eve going to be talking to us, of course, about the big news of the day, EOS approved by Japan regulators. Then we've got Steven Diesel from the ENF dev team joining us to talk about the EOS EVM trustless bridge front end update. And then I'll be recapping some of the information that came out of the recent Chinese fireside chat with EOS Labs founder. And then ENF Office Hours are officially launched tomorrow. We'll be talking about that with Nathan and Brandon. Chase from Challenge DAC is possibly going to be joining us today to talk about a grant that their teams received. We've got Rob from Facings talking to us about creator updates. Pomelo Season 6 survey results are in. Wharf Kit Webinar coming up. Upland Totems are coming, and more. So, hope you're ready for a big show. Hope you got your snacks, your drinks, and yeah, let's dive right into it. So, the big news of the day, EOS approved by the regulators of Japan. Very big news. What's up? We've got Eve joining us today to talk a bit more about this. And yeah, I'm just gonna throw it over to Eve right away. Eve, welcome to the fireside. Are you ready to talk EOS and Japan?
Catch. I just caught it. Yes. Thank you for throwing it over. I am ready to talk about this. I've been wanting to talk about this for a very long time.
I've got 3 questions for you, actually.
Go for it.
We want to structure this segment a bit more.
Let's
First
structure
question,
this.
What does this mean for EOS? Second question, what kind of work went into getting this approval? And the third question, does this mean you'll be spending more or less time in Japan in the next year compared to the last year?
42, 7, and 24. Those are the 3 answers to your 3 questions.
There you go. Moving on to our next topic.
Moving on. What was the first question again? What does this mean for EOS?
Yeah.
I'm actually going to start with your second question because it seems to make more sense in terms of timeline.
Sure.
What was your second question?
What kind of work went into getting this approval?
Thank you. A lot of work went into this. So to give an idea, we formally started the process. And by formally, I mean like the actual application paperwork and everything started early on in March. Before we even got there, so March 8th, before we even got to that point, it was a few months of work just to be able to be not eligible to apply, but essentially kind of the pre-work in order to be there. So this particular file, I've been working on between 8 to 9 months. So it's a very, very long time coming. The process itself was extremely difficult, very, very deep in terms of what the regulatory bodies were asking. They were following along very, very closely to what's going on EOS in particular. So much so that at some point, while we were in a phase where we were doing back and forth questions with the JVCA and the FSA for a period of a few weeks, while we were answering the questions, news about EOS was going out. And then they would, within a matter of a few hours, basically ask questions about the latest information that's just been released that has nothing to do with the application. They were looking at transactions on chain and asking specific questions about specific transactions from specific accounts or specific smart contracts or applications. And they went really into the weeds. They were looking at on-chain data. They were looking at historic data. I believe I've mentioned in the past when people were asking about Japan a few weeks back when Binance announced that they were re-entering the Japanese market. And even prior to that, when I mentioned that I was heading out to Japan, people were asking questions about, why isn't EOS listed in Japan? And the history there is that EOS has been rejected from the JVCA and the FSA in the past. So I won't get into too many details there because I was not a part of the first attempt. I was a part of the second attempt, though, while I was with EOS Nation. We did try to get EOS listed in Japan, and we failed at that time, in large part because we're simply a block producer, and there was no coordinated, centralized body that could speak on behalf of the chain, and that was one of the big points there. But the amount of work that was required just to get to this announcement today was quite extensive. We've been working on this for a very, very, very long time. And this is a milestone. It's a huge milestone. It's a very, very big achievement for EOS. The amount of products that are listed in Japan, very, very low. The government is heavily involved in this. Basically, you get approval from the government, which is what we just got and what we just announced. Paired with this, though, we already have an exchange that we're working with, and EOS will start trading in mid-September. More announcements to come on that with the actual date. So within the next couple of weeks, you're going to hear more about that. But the whole process was extremely tedious, very, very long, very deep, like I mentioned, in terms of their questioning, in terms of how they're following along, in terms of what they're looking for, in terms of the prior rejections and the reasons for those rejections and what they were looking for at this time. This was incredibly, incredibly difficult, but now it opens the door. Now that you have this regulatory approval, now you can start working with exchanges to actually get it listed. And so we are already exploring. So the first exchange that it's going to be listed on is, I believe it was mentioned in the articles that were shared, and so it is BitTrade. That's number one. We are in the process already of working with other exchanges to be listed in other locations as well. So this is pretty massive. So what does it mean for EOS? So your first question. This opens EOS in a market that is a major market, a very big player in the crypto space that is currently one of the hottest markets that is looking at coming back onto the scene. For those who know, I went to Japan back in July for the WebEx event. I was supposed to be there in June, a month before. Those two events in particular, we were going because the announcement was going to be out by then, and we were going to talk about that, and we were going to release that. And obviously it took longer, so we weren't able to do that, but that was originally part of the plan. So it's a long time coming. This opens up EOS to a huge market, a very heavily regulated market, a market that has a lot of, I guess, it has a very formal framework around cryptocurrencies, which means that it gives a lot of not sustainability, but confidence in the market because they know. Basically, retail users, businesses, etc., they know how to operate. They know what the government is doing. So it's not an unknown, which is more so kind of what it is in Canada and the US, for example. Japan is very much well known. There's a big framework around it. So you know what you can or cannot do. So there's no second guessing. So it gives a lot of that investor confidence, that business confidence. So that's just the beginning for us in Japan, but that's a huge milestone there. And I guess now going back to your third question of whether or not I'm going to spend more or less time in Japan, I believe that I would be spending more time in Japan as we try to unlock some of that IP, in particular around gaming, that exists in Japan. So you can think of huge IP brands that are in Japan. For example, Nintendo, Sony. There's many, many more, but those are easy ones. Pokemon. Japan has a lot of IP as it relates to gaming, and Japan as a country, or I guess as a location, is very closed. It's very difficult to actually enter Japan or to do business in Japan, to somehow unlock the opportunities that are in Japan. It's a homogeneous country. It's an island, very, very little immigration. If you don't speak Japanese, it's incredibly difficult. It is traditionally a closed off country. And so, and it's also kind of an end-to-end, similar to what I've explained in the past about Korea, where it has from end to end, from A to Z, it solves it has every piece of the puzzle type of thing. So it's got its own investors, its own retail, its own businesses, its own IP, its own exchanges. Everything is end to end done. So to be able to enter that is incredibly difficult. But once you're in, then you get access to all of that. And so I am envisioning spending more time in Japan and being able to unlock that on behalf of EOS.
And I don't know if you guys have seen social media, but this news has been everywhere on my feed, and a couple of crypto feeds that I have that rarely, EOS gets mentioned there. Today it's been all over, so that's been it's been really good to see.
Yeah, and it's pretty awesome. I think Zach did an amazing job. So For those who are also paying attention, so the news was under embargo. So I guess even delving deeper into your second question, what was involved in this and how much work? The Japanese authorities were very, very, very clear on multiple occasions that if this news ever leaked out prior to it being formally announced by the authorities, because there's a very formal process in even announcing this, that if this were to be leaked out, that there's no second guessing, or there's no I'm sorry or whatever. This was now going to be pulled back. They were very clear on this. And so keeping this tight-lipped and keeping this basically under wraps for all this time in and by itself is a huge achievement. We got a kind of a scare yesterday because one of the the media companies that had this information under embargo released this information yesterday around 3 p.m., 3 or 4 p.m. So for some of you, you may have seen that in the ENF chat, there was an article shared yesterday around 3 or 4 p.m. Eastern time that basically highlighted the news. And we quickly pulled it down. We had to contact the editors. We had to ask them to pull the story. And so we kind of had a scare there because the whole process is extremely regulated on what we could say, when we could say it, who was allowed to say it first, et cetera, et cetera. So very happy to finally no longer have this on our shoulders. A few of you have asked questions in the past and I've dropped a few hints. But we really needed to be extremely tight-lipped on this, and it really is a huge milestone for EOS because of the process, because of what this means from a regulatory point of view as well. We also expect that other countries and other jurisdictions will likely look at Japan and the work that they did and either copy paste and or leverage the information and the kind of the listings in Japan to form their own determinations as to whether or not they would list a particular project. So this is really, really big. So we're really excited about this.
Yeah, that's great. Congratulations, to you guys for doing this work, and one more round of applause for everyone involved in this. Soundboard horns. Yes, exactly. It was just right for that. Cool. Anyone else have any questions or comments they want to share? I see Yana here sharing a screenshot in the chat of some social mentions on a bunch of different websites about the news from today. That's great. So I'll just give a couple moments here for anyone to jump on the mic and share some thoughts or questions. All right, we'll keep the show moving. First, though, thanks everyone for joining us. What do we got 60 people here on Discord. We got others watching live on YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, wherever you are. Like, subscribe, and share if you're live with us in Discord. Share those memes, images, emojis in the chat. We love it when you guys participate in the show, whether it's a comment, a question, or just some random off-topic banter at the end of it. Thanks for joining us. Okay, cool. Next topic, EOS EVM trustless bridge front end got an upgrade recently, and we've got Steven Diesel here from the ENF to talk to us a bit more about this recent blog post and how it impacts the EOS EVM trustless bridge.
Sure. Thanks for having me, guys. So hey, I'm Steven. I'm part of the product team at the ENF. So we did just recently perform an update to the trustless bridge front end. That, of course, is just the UI component for bridging EOS tokens between the EOS native network and the EOS EVM. When it comes to this update, just for transparency, the main thing that's released here is just the transaction hash mapping for the EOS network to successful transactions attempted through that front end. This is really just for troubleshooting processes in case anybody runs into any issues. And as is outlined inside of the release notes as well. There's mixed support for this concept or feature called inline transfers. And as a result of that, the ability for a user to effectively withdraw from EOS EVM to some centralized exchanges may require further troubleshooting. We've done our best to lock down any sort of risk for users around that. So at this point in time, there shouldn't be any present concerns around people for that. But if anyone does have questions, I can elaborate. It's all detailed in those release notes, just to be clear. And the reason why those release notes kind of outline the broader functionality is that this is kind of the first official release of that product. It's of course existed since April, and much of the design still looks and feels the way it did back then. I mentioned that just to meet our expectations of where it's at right now, but also to mention that there's a lot of big updates that will be coming in the coming weeks and months, including official USDT support, as well as a whole UX revamp. We're looking to redesign the product and make it a whole lot more user-friendly. But I guess that's some general context. Does anyone have any questions about that? I also see some links were shared, so thanks for that.
All right, thanks, Stephen, for that clarification and explanation about the status of the EOS EVM trustless bridge. And there you go, you're sharing the release notes directly. I shared the tweet update and the blog update. And then, so there you go. And then, of course, the actual bridge, right? Bridge.evm.eosnetwork.com allows you to bridge your EOS tokens from the EOS native side to the EOS EVM and back. And yeah, so if you've got any questions about that, plenty of information for you to dig into. And we're looking forward for more updates in the future. Thanks, Stephen, for joining us. And please join us again when there's more updates to share.
Absolutely. Yeah, maybe the last thing that I'll mention is just like pretty much everything else that's built by the ENF. This is an open source project. So one other thing that I can share is just the link to this repo. If anybody ever has any feedback or feature requests, you can submit issues directly here. And of course, you can talk to me directly about it. But yeah, happy to collaborate with folks and make it the best experience we can. Thanks.
You can also submit PRs. They're always welcome.
All right, thanks, Nathan, for that little bit of extra. We'll be hearing more from Nathan in just a little bit. But first, our next topic is the EOS Labs Chinese Fireside recap article that was published last week. And I'm going to give you guys a quick recap of what this is all about. I read the article earlier today, highlighted some interesting parts. And let's see here. So I'm actually curious, see some ones in the chat if you've read this article. So let's see some ones in the chat if you've already read this article. But either way, I'm going to give you guys, oh, that cricket sound. I thought my mic was off. It scared me. All right. Okay. Who's going crazy with the soundboard? All right. So a bit of a recap. So the title of this blog post is Origins, Vision, and Developments Shared by EOS Labs Founder. I'm going to link this right in the chat right here. And these are highlights from the Chinese EOS Fireside Chat that happened over a week ago. All right. So a bunch of questions. I'm not going to go over all of them. I'm just going to highlight some of the key pieces of information that I found interesting. So EOS, and some of this stuff has been shared already, but some of it was reiterated, so I'm going to bring it up again. So EOS Labs follows a data-driven approach in its activities. It's going to monitor key data metrics such as total value locked, daily trading volume, daily active addresses, and daily active users to make more informed decisions. EOS Labs pays close attention to DeFi and GameFi, focusing on emerging and popular projects and trends as well, such as real-world assets. So their strategy for EOS DeFi incubation will also be intricate. The approach taken by EOS Labs will be different from the Pomelo and ENF grant framework. They will provide more direct investments and support to help potential projects. All right, question number 2 was, does EOS Labs have a comprehensive KPI evaluation framework? So it says that presently the operation of EOS Labs does not necessitate direct oversight. I'm sorry about that. We got some coffee action in the background. All right, many initiatives are in their infancy, and our primary focus revolves around identifying avenues for innovation and advancement. Furthermore, our gauge for assessing the efficacy of EOS Labs initiatives lies in the continual augmentation of on-chain activities, total value locked, and the proliferation of associated projects. These metrics will serve as touchstones for evaluation and refinement. So I thought this was interesting in that it really highlights kind of what kind of oversight we can expect from EOS Labs. Of course, the block producers are ultimately in the role of the oversight of deciding to continue to fund this organization or not. But outside of that, it sounds like they're really going to be focusing on metrics, on-chain activities, total value locked, etc., to determine if their organization is successful or not. In short term, their focus will be on EVM, but this doesn't mean that we are giving up on the development of the native chain ecosystem. We won't reject any native application. So that was confirmed again. That was a question: is it just EVM or are EOS EVM or EOS native applications as well? But their focus is EVM. But just because you're native doesn't mean you're going to be rejected. So and he stresses that it's important not to perceive EOS native and EOS EVM as competing entities, which makes sense to me. I'm happy to learn whenever a project launches, whether it's on EVM or native. I'm just happy projects are launching on EOS, right? Question 4, how will EOS Labs funding information be transparent and publicly available? The answer is that we plan to collaborate with third-party auditing firms and regularly publish audit reports. However, a challenge we currently face is that most auditing practices do not support blockchain audits. Nevertheless, we are actively reaching out and committed to finding a solution to this issue. So this is kind of a recurring theme across many blockchain companies where they're having problems auditing, but they're saying that this is a priority for them and they're focused on solving this issue. In terms of their, so question number 5, for application outside the EOS ecosystem that are profitable, are they willing to go through the effort to migrate to EOS for a relatively small award? What confidence does EOS Labs have in attracting these well-known applications? The answer: many projects adopt a multi-chain deployment strategy to attract more users. For these projects, entering EOS is also an expectation to gain more users. Therefore, what EOS Labs needs to do most is to increase on-chain activity and the number of users. So again, going back to these on-chain metrics, where they're saying that as these metrics increase, that in turn will attract more projects. They continue: we also welcome more community members to join us, supervise us, and recommend good projects to us through the email provided below. So there's an email I'll share in just a bit. For ecosystem projects, projects can submit their pitch deck to bd@eoslabs.io, and EOS Labs will arrange for dedicated personnel to engage with the projects. So that's kind of your contact method for EOS Labs at this point. Question 7 was pretty interesting. How does EOS Labs evaluate whether a project is worth investing in? The answer: for early stage projects, the primary focus is on the potential of the team and the industry track. Of course, the economic model, technical capabilities, and alignment with current development direction of EOS are also considered. For example, projects that are inherently related to DeFi or gaming might be preferred. In the middle to later stages of a project, we look at performance data, competitive performance, the team's track record, project finances, and funding status, among other factors. So I thought this was a nice answer that gives us a bit of insight into what this team is going to be looking at closely when evaluating projects. What about existing projects? Is EOS Labs willing to collaborate with existing projects? The answer: as long as a project's goals align with our development objectives, aiming to enhance EOS's active data or TVL, we will evaluate and consider it. This applies regardless of whether the project is new or existing. So not really any differentiation in EOS Labs' eyes, whether it's a project is new or currently existing. Question 9, since EOS Labs is a profit-oriented organization, how does the profit aspect contribute back to the mainnet or community? So I know this was a topic that I was actually very curious about, and others as well. So I'm just going to read the full answer here. EOS Labs operational funds come from the community, and it certainly contributes back to the community. This is unrelated to whether it is a profit-oriented organization. As for why EOS Labs is set up as a profit-oriented organization, similar controversies have arisen within the Ethereum founding team. Currently, the EOS Network Foundation is a non-profit organization responsible for EOS ecosystem infrastructure or Antelope's development, while EOS Labs focusing on enriching applications on Antelope. I believe establishing a profit-oriented organization makes it easier to motivate our team to overcome development bottlenecks. In the future, if profits are generated, they will be reinvested into the ecosystem. Our ultimate goal is to develop a sustainable ecosystem rather than consistently seeking operational funding from the community. So interesting answer. I'm sure we'll hear more about this topic in the coming weeks and months. And I'm just going to leave it there for now. Question 10. Has EOS Labs already been in discussion with some potential projects? Yes. Many direct inquiries have been sent, and they're in discussions with around a dozen potential projects. What's the size of the EOS Labs team? Given market environment and budget consideration, our team will be kept within 5 members. And of course, there's a lot more in here. I'm not going over everything. I encourage you to read the entire article if you're curious about EOS Labs. Couple final points here regarding the suspension of the Yield Plus program. Part of the answer is that even though the primary benefits of the Yield Plus program were tied to DeFi Box, it's undeniable that DeFi Box is an excellent project. For such exceptional projects, EOS Labs will continue to provide assistance in the future. We won't simply do nothing after the closure of the Yield Plus program. Regarding rejecting the Block 1 settlement agreement, also EOS Labs is in alignment with the ENF's position in order to, urge everyone to unite with the EOS Network Foundation to fight for our rights. And there you go. So those were some of the highlights that I found most interesting. Let me see here if there was any questions in the chat. Lewis was asking if EOS Network Ventures is different. It is a different organization than EOS Labs. Yeah, exactly. All right, any thoughts or comments from anyone? Feel free to share them. Obviously, we don't have anyone representing EOS Labs with us today, so I'm not going to be in a position to answer many questions, but I thought this was good information to share, and I'm happy to see such a thorough article here that really goes over a lot of the questions that I had regarding EOS Labs.
Well, I guess I'm the only person that's going to ask the hard questions.
I can't promise an answer, but go ahead and ask your question.
Well, I'm still confused, and I'm guessing other people are as well. I don't understand the for-profit status, yet recycling the money back into the community. Is it a nonprofit? Is it legally a for-profit organization that is acting like a nonprofit with regard to our community? If it's claiming to recycle or to reinvest the money into the community, is there any way for us to track that? Do we have a right to track that? It's just very confusing to me. I really don't understand the setup.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with that comment, and I would definitely like to have more clarity around the setup, like you say. But I guess that'll be hopefully more information will be shared about that in the coming weeks and months. And I'm sure there's going to be more opportunities for us to ask questions directly to the team at EOS Labs in the future as well.
Well, then that begs my second question, really a statement, which is, this is a really awkward setup where, I mean, that's an important question that I just asked and you just confirmed, and we just have, we got nothing. We just got air. It's very awkward.
I mean, it's not nothing or air, but I agree that I'd like to see more details around that, for sure.
Well, I mean, why wouldn't we have, why can't Yves or Zach answer that? Are they unaware of that? Gentlemen, are you unaware of the answer to that question?
I imagine if there was more precise information to be shared at this time, it would have been shared. But anyone's free to jump in and answer here if they want.
Okay.
Rodrigo asked, do they make money by taking equity positions in projects they accept into the lab? Good question. I imagine yes, but I'm not sure.
Is there, do we have a legal status?
It sounds like it's a for-profit legal status. That seems clear to me.
And the jurisdiction is China. Is that, we can say that for sure.
I'm not sure, actually. I'm not sure.
So we're not sure even the jurisdiction. Wow. Okay.
I think in an early...
These are good questions we can ask, and I'm sure, we'll get the answers.
If I remember correctly, the jurisdiction was supposed to be Singapore. I might be mistaken, though.
Okay, that's a step. That's
very good point that Trimbot makes here. Stefan just doesn't know the answer. It's very possible that this information is out there, and I don't know it necessarily, so keep that in mind.
Well, let's ask it this way. Why are we getting no answer from Yves or Zach here in this call right now? I mean, surely they can answer why. Maybe they don't have to answer, of course. No one can force anybody to answer, but you say why? Like, for example, you were under a gag order with regard to the Japanese situation. Can you give us any indication that you're under a gag order to disclose the jurisdiction and the legal entity type? Or is there any kind of gag order regarding that? Okay.
Aaron Cox here shared a good comment here in the chat. Not-for-profits have very strict requirements that can limit what a business can and cannot do. Those requirements don't exist on normal business. He says, Greymass is for-profit, but we kind of act like a not-for-profit. Maybe there's some similarities. Maybe. Remember, everyone that's joining us live in Discord, grab your POP tokens in the PopBot chat. Simply register for that using your EOS account, and we'll drop that into your account later on today. And then you can join the monthly raffle, win some prizes, win some EOS moments, all sorts of fun things. There we go. We got some shout outs for the new EOS South Asia show that started this week. Ruaid is hosting that. Did you want to jump on stage real quick and introduce yourself maybe to the English speaking community and talk a bit about your show? I know this was not planned and I may be putting you on the spot here. Let's see here. Is your mic set up?
Hello.
Hello. Welcome to
hey,
Fireside.
Thank you. This is my first time here.
There you go. Yeah. glad to have you on the show. A bit of background for everyone. Ruaid reached out to me, I think last week or the week before, saying that he wants to host kind of a fireside show for his community, and so we agreed to give some pop tokens for him to distribute to his community. And then so you had your first show this week, right, on Monday?
Yes, on Monday.
Great. So talk a bit about your community and what you do there with the show.
It was very fun. We had a few listeners. For being our first show, it was very fun. So what I was thinking is that, we have a community for Mexico, the Spanish community, and we have a community for the Chinese Fireside Chat. So I thought, what if we do something for South Asia, India and Pakistan? I thought there's a lot of potential there. And if we try to expand in those countries, so we may get new users into EOS and in our ecosystem. So we did our show in Hindi and Urdu, and we had a few listeners, and I hope we'll get more this week as well. I plan on continuing it weekly.
All right, so awesome. That's great.
Yeah, thank you.
Glad to hear the show went well, and definitely let me know if there's other things we can do to help support your show.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
All right, thanks for joining. Tony says that the Spanish Fireside isn't just for Mexico. No, it's not. It's definitely for any Spanish-speaking EOS community member, but I think it is co-hosted by the guys from EOS Mexico. So there's that. All right, let's keep it moving. Next up on the agenda, EOS Network Foundation office hours here on Discord. We got Nathan James and Brandon Lovejoy doing their first office hours tomorrow. Brandon, Nathan, do you want to come on stage here and talk a bit about these office hours?
Sure. So we really wanted to give a way or another way for the community to reach out. The chats, now that the community is growing a little bit and the chats are getting a little bit bigger, it's harder for us to keep track with the less staff that we have. But we wanted to give more of an opportunity to have communications with the ENF, specifically the ENF. So we have other communication channels for the EOS network, which are the Fireside that we're currently on. We have the Node Operator Roundtable, Developer Roundtable, and we really want to give the community an opportunity to talk directly to us and ask us questions that maybe don't want to be asked here. Some people might not be comfortable coming onto such a large forum, but are comfortable in smaller settings. So we're going to be spreading these out throughout the week. We're still debating what we're looking at, possibly doing multiple during the week with different individuals. So you'll have not only a chance to have more opportunities to speak to the ENF, but also to different people, different teams within the ENF. For instance, Brandon and I will be on tomorrow, but other teams will be on at a different day. So it should hopefully spread it out and allow more people to have these candid conversations live with somebody. Maybe Brandon wants to add something here as well.
Yeah, I think you covered pretty well. I would just add that in addition to, tomorrow is kind of like just Nathan and I jumping on. I think that might be a recurring time slot, but we'll be communicating about the upcoming, chats, and just, if you hang out in Discord and you see one of the voice chats open, hopefully we'll get some of these set up so they're pretty obvious and you see them. It's an office hour or a lounge or something like that going on, so feel free to jump in when you see that. Otherwise, we'll try to produce some graphics with kind of all the upcoming events for the week and just keep those coming so people know when they can catch us. And just looking forward to the opportunity to just kind of have more unstructured time with folks, and if no one shows up, we'll just be sitting here working. And but otherwise, yeah, drop by with your questions or thoughts, and excited to connect.
Yeah, I think it's a good initiative. At first, my initial reaction was that, to me, the ENF seems very accessible. You guys are in the chats on Telegram. You're out here on the Fireside, on Discord, in the Discord chats as well. However, all of those forums are kind of public, and those questions are recorded forever on Telegram or whatever, or this show is broadcasted live and recorded on YouTube, etc. So there's not actually a way to be informally just talking without worrying that what you say here could like impact your reputation, or if you say something silly, it's kind of recorded and published forever. So I think it's a good idea, and I'm definitely going to be joining in from time to time. Say hi to more people from the ENF. I like it.
I don't know if you added more pressure or less pressure.
Yeah.
Less pressure.
Yeah,
it's not
just keep
recorded.
it-
Anything you say just disappears right after, and no one. So, no pressure.
But yeah, just casual environment, not needing to be on a stage. Just drop on by.
I don't think the time has been announced yet, but I think it's going to be tomorrow, Thursday, 11 a.m. Eastern, if I'm not mistaken. And it's gonna be
You got it.
in here on Discord. There's going to be a new lounge voice chat or something. You'll easily see it. You'll be able to see that icon in the top left corner of your Discord platform that you can see right now, like that green icon that says that there's people chatting away in the voice chat. That'll be live. So that's your indicator to know that someone's out there waiting for you to come hang out and chat.
Yep, you got it. Thanks, Steph.
Breaking news! Pomelo season dates are going to be announced in just a bit, so make sure you stay tuned for that. But first, let's invite our next guest on the show. Let's see, is Rob from Facings with us today? I think he is. Rob Rigo, right there in the chat. You guys published a NFT Creators Updates blog post today or this week. And yeah, we'd love to hear more about what that's all about, Rob.
Ahoy, thanks for having me.
All right, welcome.
Thanks for dropping it. I was about to do that. So we dropped a quick blog update detailing the work we did to complete our second grant proposal with the ENF. This included our plugin framework and a couple example plugins, which are data import and airdrop. Both of these features are useful building blocks for managing collections, especially so with the data import, when you're dealing with lots of complex NFT data. Let's say you have a set you're launching that could have hundreds of different types of NFTs in it. It's helpful from a quality and efficiency perspective to be able to port that data around, use it on a test net, and then when you're ready to go, promote it to the live mainnet environment. So really, this is creating a standard to manage more complex NFT data. It is a standard, so other tools could implement it as well. We'll continue to work on that and enhance the standard as we see opportunities to. The airdrop plugin, this is really kind of an open source bounty block drop tool clone. It's my understanding bounty block is no longer available on EOS. So we saw an opportunity here, one, to launch a tool that didn't have as many dependencies. The void with their tool no longer being available. So you can perform airdrops such as the pop token airdrop or other airdrops onto people holding NFTs in your collection. And this is just useful for distributing promos and various other distributions that you may want to do for your collection and marketing and engagement and so on. So that is now available and currently being reviewed by the ENF, as that was our last milestone. We also included a lot of bug fixes, so we took the opportunity to enumerate the bug fixes and other enhancements in the blog posts that we released. And so those are available for your reading. I'm not going to read every single one. And beyond that, we're now set up to, we no longer have any specific promised work. We're choosing our own destiny now, but some sort of clues on what we're working on next. We're currently looking at Wharf Kit and adapting our app to use Wharf Kit just so that we're future-proofed. It definitely seems like a very good SDK to leverage, particularly the ability to cover resources if you run out of resources while you're trying to sign a transaction. That's a great UX improvement, and I know there's a lot of other great features coming in Wharf Kit, so we want to make sure our app's ready to leverage that. We're also working on our own internal analytics, so we have a better understanding of how the app is being used as we go forward. If certain features are more popular than others, if various, attempts to drive usage and engagement are successful or not. So we're in the midst of researching what we'd like to use for analytics and implementing that as well. We also had a Pomelo grant in season 6 that promised basically an account profile page. So we're putting that in place just to give some more information about the logged in users inventory and resources, account level information that can be useful. So we're currently sort of working on these small or miscellaneous pieces at the moment, and then we'll be diving right into additional feature development. So we understand that one of the core drivers for engagement and activity in NFT collections is facilitating drops in sales. We've facilitated quite a few of those over the years now, but we have never made our technology available through a self-service portal. So that's something we're very keen to enable, as we see that as an opportunity to onboard new users to EOS. Say a game's launching and it wants to sell some of its game assets. We hope to be the technology they'd like to leverage in order to facilitate those sales on EOS. And that's a revenue driver for the collection, for us, and it spurs on market activity by creating more NFTs, which are in demand by the players of the game. That will drive secondary market activity and generally just increase usage of the chain. So we're looking at prioritizing that against some of the other features that we have sort of on the shelf that are developed and that we've used in the past, specifically on Wax, but figuring out how to integrate some of those features and port them over to EOS and enable them to be used through the collection manager. That will pretty much make the app a lot more useful, and feature rich, and give collection owners more reasons to manage their collections through facings. So it's really what we're looking at right now. Thanks to the ENF for allowing us the opportunity to do this proposal. Definitely has helped us get through this year and set ourselves up for the future. So we're in a good spot now, and we're just looking to deliver more value and get more usage on the app. We're always looking for more feedback, feature requests, suggestions, and just understanding of how you're looking to use NFTs on EOS. So feel free to reach out to me, join our Discord, discord.gg/facings. Hit us up on Twitter or wherever you'd prefer. I'm in Telegram as well, because we want to hear from you. So I see. Oh, thank you, Steph. Yep, that's the link to our app. So feel free to give it a try and let us know how it's working for you. And we do have a testing specific channel now in Telegram. So if you prefer to use Telegram, you can join the channel I'm linking and give us feedback if you find bugs or various ways you think the app can be improved. Lewis isn't EVM ready at the moment. That is definitely an interesting thought, though. There are some things we want to get in place. Like I said, features that are sort of on the shelf that we have mostly developed that need to be adapted to the collection manager, imported to EOS. So those will be, in our opinion, easier value to unlock than starting a fresh feature from zero. But we are definitely tracking the growth of the EVM and usage of the EVM on EOS and have some ideas about how we could participate in that as well. So yeah, that's about all I had. I just wanted to provide an update and again, ask for feedback and understand how you all are looking to leverage NFTs on EOS. As we are building this for you, and we want to make sure that it suits your needs. So thank you very much, and happy to answer any questions.
All right. Thanks, Rob, for joining us. I'm definitely happy with the progress you guys are making. The POP token, the monthly raffle, those prizes, a lot of that is enabled through this app. So that's great. I was feeling kind of naked without my bounty block tool for all these promotions. So I'm very happy to see that this tool is kind of up and running, covers a lot of the use cases that I need at this point. So I'm excited to use it more and to start up more EOS NFT related promotions. You did bring up an interesting topic, actually, which feeds into one of our future topics today regarding implementing Wharf Kit. So I don't know if you're aware, Rob, but there's a webinar coming up about Wharf Kit next Thursday, so in 8 days. And yeah, I was wondering if you are planning on attending that webinar.
Yeah, we are aware of that, and at least one of our developers will be attending. I'm actually traveling over the next week, so taking a trip with my family. So I'm pretty much going to be offline during that, but we will be in attendance, specifically Marcelo on our team, who is focused on implementing Wharf Kit. So he's going to be there. He's been doing his research as well. And we're super excited to start leveraging Wharf Kit. It's definitely an impressive piece of technology, and I see a lot of future potential there too.
Awesome. Yeah. So the Wharf Kit webinar is September 7th at 4 p.m. UTC. Of course, everyone is invited to join. However, more than that, if you're a developer and you want to be a bit more involved in that conversation, reach out to Brandon Lovejoy and maybe we'll be able to get you on stage, allowing maybe Marcel there to ask some questions directly to Aaron Cox. So that's going to be one of the highlights or highlights of this webinar, is that people will be able to interact directly with Aaron about Wharf Kit. So if you've got questions, you've been trying things out, that's going to be a great opportunity to get involved. So if you're a dev there, Rob wants to join, have him send a message to Brandon. Anyone else out there that would like to ask questions during this webinar, send a message to Brandon, and we'll see if we can get some of you more involved in that webinar.
Awesome. Thanks. I'll let him know. I appreciate it.
Beautiful. Anything else to add there, Brandon, about this upcoming Wharf Kit webinar? Or maybe Aaron, I see he's in the chat as well.
Yeah, Aaron, if you want to say anything, go for it. Yeah, I know we have, I'll just really quickly say we're using Webinar Geek, and currently the functionality doesn't really exist to bring people from the audience to the stage, which is kind of why we're looking now for folks that are interested in being part of the panel so that we can make sure we have some good question askers on stage with Aaron. Ideally, you're already tinkering around with Wharf, or you're a developer in the Antelope ecosystem, so you can bring your razor sharp wit and questions to the stage. But in the future, we should be able to, a Webinar Geek is going to open up the possibility to bring anyone on stage. So it won't be such a clear division in the future. So you can maybe enter as an audience member and then ask a ton of questions. And we're like, just bring you up on stage for future webinars. But for now, kind of have to predetermine and send out invites to people. So yeah, just get in touch if you're interested and you're burning to ask some questions in that format.
Tony here in the chat trying to steal the thunder from the webinar. No, I'm kidding. He is saying that the Wharf Kit team also holds weekly calls on Wednesday at 1 p.m. So if there's any devs out there wants to drop by that call, they're welcome to drop in and check out their previous recordings on YouTube. I tagged the Wharf Kit Twitter account today in the promo post. Hopefully that helps the Wharf Kit Twitter reputation. Hopefully we get that account unbanned eventually, or unrestricted, or I don't know, whatever's going on with that Twitter account. All right, well, thanks, Rob, for joining us. Good work on the airdrop tool. I like it a lot. And yeah, make sure everyone else, if you're a dev or not, sign up for that webinar. I think if you sign up, you can watch it at a later date as well. So if you're not necessarily available for that specific date, still worth it to sign up so you can get that information and watch it afterwards. All right, couple other short topics for the day. We went through these topics a bit quicker than I thought today. Pomelo Season 6 survey results are in, but first, before that, let me be the first to announce Pomelo Season 7 dates. So let me check my notes here. Daniel Keys could not join us today, but he did give me the go-ahead. Applications for Season 7 will open on September 20th. And meaning that donations will open on September 27th. And then, of course, the donations are open for 3 weeks, which will lead us to about mid-late October for the end of Season 7. So there you go. I know many of you have been asking us for the dates. We're happy that we can confirm them now. There's going to be an official tweet from the ENF coming out soon as well. That's going to be retweeted, of course, from the Pomelo account, and then we'll spread the news more officially in the community. For now, you're just getting this alpha drop on the Fireside, but we'll be sharing more widely in the coming days. Well done, whoever's on the soundboard. Okay, Pomelo Season 6 survey results. So that was just published this morning. Let me share the link here in the chat. Some key takeaways from Pomelo Season 6 survey. Actually, some of the key takeaways were surprising to me. So what's nice is that the number of respondents was up from Season 5, and now we're up to 49 total respondents. Net Promoter Score is up to 34, so that means people who would be actively promoting Pomelo and recommending it to their friends. There's more information about exactly what is a Net Promoter Score in the article. Other key takeaways, a majority of respondents, 89%, said that multi-pools resulted in the same or better experience. More than half of respondents, 53%, would like more matching pools, or say it doesn't matter to them, 45%. A majority at 69% would prefer to have more than one matching pool, and all respondents except one would like to continue with multi-pools as long as the criteria is clear and the review process is smooth. So of course, very multi-pool oriented. The survey, of course, that was a new feature in Pomelo Season 6. There was the GameFi pool, the Everything EOS pool, the Telos pool, and DeFi pool, I think. I forget a bit. And we've had kind of some mixed feedback here on the Fireside. I remember a couple people speaking up that they weren't too sure if the matching pool made sense or if it was clear to them. But seems like the people who did take the time to answer this survey, the vast majority of them enjoy the multi-pool experience, which I definitely agree with. I personally enjoyed the multi-pool experience on Season 6. And no information has been published or determined yet about Season 7 prize pool and or the distribution of that prize pool within pools. So we'll be sharing more about that as soon as possible. But at least I'm happy I was able to give you the dates. So applications open in about 3 weeks. Get your applications ready. Visit the Pomelo Medium page for tips on how to write your application if you're not sure. And then get that EOS ready donation start in about 1 month. Love the soundboards, except when you do the crickets, and then I have a small heart attack thinking I've been muted and talking to no one. Patrick here coming in, saying that he's got an interview with Daniel Keys coming. That's great. And then multi-pass to the moon. I'm not sure what that means, but I like the sound of it. All right. Good stuff. Let's see some ones in the chat if you plan on participating as a grant owner in Pomelo Season 7. And other than that, if anyone has any thoughts or questions, feel free to jump on the stage here. Soundboard on fire, absolutely. Do we know who's using the soundboard? I have no idea.
Oh my god.
Seriously, do we not know? Discord allows anonymous soundboard usage? This feels dangerous. Only mods, like, admin, and ENF. Aha! So it's one of you that's trolling me with the crickets. Damn these anonymous crickets. But I do appreciate the applause and horn. Eve, Yana, check the logs. Apparently Eve is the one trolling me. Nice. The green ring even when muted. All right. Oh, there we go. Eve is not anonymous anymore. Thank God. Nice. We'll need to create a role specific for Fireside soundboard users, and people who want to be responsible with their soundboard usage can be added.
Maybe Eves could answer the question regarding the non-profit profit status using the soundboard.
Maybe Eve is just not going to answer that question because he doesn't have more information to share than that has been already shared. And it's not up to the ENF to share all the information for EOS Labs either. All right, last topic of the day, Upland updates once more. I mean, Upland is really on fire. Of course, Tokyo was released recently. Of course, Upland runs on EOS. EOS now approved in Japan. I like the synergy. It's all coming together nicely. They do a weekly update show here that I shared on YouTube. It's 3.5 minutes. Lots of things coming. I mean, it's really cool to see how active and engaged the Upland community is. I wish I had more time to play, but any gaming time I have right now is very, very limited and reserved for Diablo 4. But love to listen to these updates, and love everything that's going on here. Let me share a bit here. A couple of the topics that were brought up here on this video. What is it? Totems announcement. That's right. So Totems is type of life, some sort of living creature that you'll take care of in Upland. I'm not too sure exactly, but there's a bunch of them. There's over 5,000 that's going to be available. There's 11 different types of life forms. Sounds very interesting. There's racing updates, which I touched upon last week. There's new types of shops where users can sell things to other users, really kind of increasing the commercial aspect of this metaverse and really allowing people to earn in many different ways while playing in the Upland metaverse. And then the Tokyo Thrift Trader promotion is basically ranking people who are buying and selling properties in Tokyo and then awarding the top 200 traders with a special avatar. And lots more updates there that you can read in the blog post that I shared. EOS needs more games like Upland. Yes, absolutely. Upland's absolutely killing it. Love to see it. So that's it for today, at least for the topics that I had on the agenda. At this point, if anyone wants to share some updates from their projects, feel free to jump on the stage. Any off-topic banter you want to talk about, now's the time. Or we can just listen to this chill elevator music for a little bit.
Oh hi, Mark.
What was that? We got some cross-server soundboard action going, I think.
What is this? I don't even know what I'm reading.
What's this mess?
I'm frantically looking for that green circle. I can't find it.
You fucking kidding me, bro?
Oh.
You are really a sunbird.
Got Nathan James in the action. Got Patrick got it in there. We need more of the room presence.
What the frick?
What do you mean, Trimbot? Like more people on the soundboard? Fucking with my mojo?
Hallelujah.
Ah, never heard of The Room movie.
Go you.
That was aggressive.
Success!
We definitely need to add sounds to our EOS community soundboard. If if you've got some special sounds you want to play to try to mess with me during the fireside, send it over to me. I'll add it to the community soundboard.
Amazing!
Is that a soundboard? Is that just Patrick live? I don't know.
Yeah, baby, yeah.
Dream on, skin tube.
Nope. Yes. Yeah, baby, yeah. Oh, thank you very much.
All right, CLF Joy, thanks for joining the fireside. Next topic, says Patrick. There are no next topic, Patrick. It's it. We're done. We're done for the day. We're just hanging around, seeing if anyone's gonna bring up anything interesting.
I'm adding custom sounds.
Yes. Let's do. Oh, yes.
Dream on, skin tube.
We already got them. Can everyone else see those sounds? Yeah, I guess anyone who has access to the soundboard.
Duh.
Dream
Yep.
on.
Go, EOS!
Duh. Duh.
Go, 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 EOS! Nom de bleu! That was a poker. Okay.
You know what cheers me up when I'm feeling shitty?
What?
Rolled up aces over kings. Yeah, check raising stupid tourists and taking huge pots off them.
Yeah?
Stacks and towers of checks I can't even see over. Playing all night, high limit, hold'em at the Taj, where the sand turns to gold.
Fuck it, let's go.
Don't tease me.
Let's play some fucking cards.
Anyone want to play some cards? The EOS Community Poker Tournament is coming back. We took a break last season due to some regulatory concerns, but now we should be good to go. So we're definitely going to be having at least one more EOS Community Poker event. We usually host these after the Pomelo season, so look for that at the end of October.
Yeah.
If you want to sponsor the poker tournament, donate some EOS prizes or NFTs or all sorts of other things, reach out to me. We'll get you on board as a sponsor. All right, last call for topics. Anyone wants to jump on stage, say something? This is it. We'll wrap up the show in just a minute here.
Yeah, I encourage everyone to go on the EOS Nation Hot Sauce on the Friday at 16 UTC.
Error, no. Patrick, error. Actually, the Hot Sauce is no longer a weekly show.
Oh no!
Yeah, so I wasn't actually going to bring it up, but now that you bring it up, Patrick, last week we announced on the Hot Sauce that it was the last week we were doing the Hot Sauce show. EOS Hot Sauce replaced by South Asia show. Sorry. Nice. We're not necessarily stopping the hot sauce completely. Maybe we'll do some special edition versions of the hot sauce from time to time. For example, for Pomelo Season 7 or other events. But at this point, we felt like the weekly show was kind of redundant. I mean, this Fireside is a much better version of the hot sauce. We've got great guests, etc. So if people want to stay up to date on the EOS news on YouTube, you know, there's definitely still a way to do that through the hot sauce, of course, through the Fireside. We timestamp all the topics, so anyone who wants to see what we're talking about can go to the video, see all the list of topics with the timestamp, jump right into their favorite topic, and get their EOS news there. So we're not leaving the EOS, you know, ecosystem without YouTube updates, but the weekly format of the EOS of the hot sauce has been discontinued at this point.
Okay, Stefan, I just want to say thank you for all those fantastic hot sauce, and continue the good job that you are doing into the Fireside Chat. I encourage everyone to join on the Wednesday, and it is at 19 UTC! Yeah, baby!
All right, we're going to leave it there. As you heard, every Wednesday, 3 p.m. Eastern. Join us for the Fireside Chat. We're going to do it all over again next week. Until then, hope you guys have some good times, and we'll chat again next week.
And
let's go.